It's that time of the day, time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we start with the good. A dog being hailed a hero for keeping a lost 3-year-old girl safe. Max, who is partially blind and deaf, staying with the toddler after she wandered away from her home in Australia. He stayed overnight until police found them. Officers later naming Max an honorary police dog.
Oh, Max deserves a big steak for that one. All right, now the bad. A woman suing her ex-boyfriend for dumping her and upgrading to a new girlfriend after winning big at the casino. The couple earning $500,000 together in Atlantic City. Can you believe that? But when they returned home, the relationship soured. The guy took the money, kicked her to the curb, and started dating another girl. The woman now suing for $500,000 in damages.
Gosh. Okay, finally the ugly. Beyonce's latest performance at Coachella ending in a flop, literally. Queen Bee trying to pick up her sister, but stumbles. Both girls landing on the floor. They don't really care, though. I feel like Beyonce's like, I'll just go with whatever.
Yeah.
I'm still great. I still look great.
We'll
Have a good day.
Police in Tennessee on the hunt for the man they say killed 4 people inside a Waffle House.
There is a chance that Ryan King at this moment is at large with 2 other weapons.
At this point, it does not appear likely that Mike Pompeo can get the votes that he needs here for becoming a Secretary of State.
This as the Commander-in-Chief is preparing to host French President Emmanuel Macron. It will be his first state visit.
We have a very special relationship because both of us are probably the maverick of the system.
Candace Owens. She was confronted by Black Lives Matter protesters.
We're oppressed. 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow, which, by the way, none of you guys lived through. Your grandparents did. And it's embarrassing that you utilize their history.
And breaking news for you, a new little royal is on the way. Kensington Palace announcing that the Duchess of Cambridge has gone into labor.
We're just getting warmed up, just getting started, already fired up. Yeah, this party ain't
I hope we're only getting started because we are only getting started.
This is the new Jason Aldean. Put in just for you, Brian.
Wow, fantastic.
Weeks ago. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Fox and Friends, live from the mezzanine level of the Studio F right here in the midtown of Manhattan. You're watching the world's #1 cable morning news show. Thanks to you, exactly.
An exciting week for Ainsley Earhardt. Not only because she gets to host again with us, which I'm certain is a thrill.
Very exciting.
Your book comes out this week.
My book comes out. Dad flew in yesterday. He's going to be on the show tomorrow. Hayden will be on the show tomorrow. Yeah, the book about my faith, it's called The Light Within Me. It drops tomorrow, so I'm really excited.
Now, when the bookers call the house, do they ask for Hayden? And like to book her for a segment?
I know. No.
Little card for her?
Brian, nobody calls anybody. It's all a text.
That's true.
I didn't know.
That's true.
I'm still using the telephone.
She's watching Peppa Pig and hands me the phone. Mama, you got a text asking me to come on.
So a big week for Ainsley and us and you as well. And we start the week with a Fox News alert. The manhunt is intensifying for that man who shot and killed 4 people at a Tennessee Waffle House.
Police are looking for that guy right there. He's 29 years old. His name is Travis Reinking, who opened fire at a suburban Nashville restaurant before a hero customer jumped in and grabbed the shooter's gun.
I'm not kind of made up my mind because there's no way to lock that door. That if it was going to come down to it, he was going to have to work to kill me.
And he didn't, thankfully. Incredibly, James Shaw suffering only a minor injury. The shooter had a previous run-in with police who arrested him in a restricted area near the White House last year, believe it or not.
That's right, and they had confiscated all of his guns and then later returned them to his father, who they believe returned them to the son. What's amazing about that, the hero right there, James Shaw Jr., is he was hiding behind a door and was waiting for the guy to stop shooting. He was changing magazines, jumped out there, grabbed the red-hot barrel of that thing. Those were his minor injuries. He burned his hand, but he said, I didn't even feel it because I had to do something about it, and he did just that, and he saved a lot of lives.
Police thought that shooter was holed up in his house or in his apartment, and they went there. They were surrounding it. Turns out he was not there. Still looking for him.
But believe it or not, the guy gets out, and they believe he has at least 2 more guns in his arsenal. So armed and dangerous, obviously, that is the assumption. And unhinged, absolutely. absolutely, and barely sane, perhaps. Meanwhile, let's talk about what's happening overseas, and perhaps one of the biggest breakthroughs diplomatically, one of our chief enemies, one of the axis of evil, North Korea, over the last few weeks has given indications that they might be looking to come to the table and no longer live the life of a renegade hermit empire. And I'm just stunned about the amount of backlash without anything actually done or conceded that the President Trump has received.
Kim Jong-un announced on Saturday that he's going to close its nuke testing site and suspend long-range missile tests, but says he will not be giving up his nuclear weapons.
Sure, but here's the thing. So the president has made it very clear, look, we don't know what's going to happen, but we're happy that Mr. Kim has agreed to come to the table and start the process. But then over the weekend, to Brian's point, for instance, Chuck Todd was talking about how, well, you know, Kim's not giving up very much, but he's making it seem like he is. And so that prompted the President of the United States, who was down at Mar-a-Lago, and he had a smartphone to start tweeting. He tweeted this: "We are a long way from conclusion on North Korea, but maybe things will work out, and maybe they won't. Only time will tell. But the work I am doing now should have been done a long time ago." Obviously, he's talking about past administrations. And then he took a shot at TV talking heads.
Also, he also brings up, we will tell North Korean leader Kim Jong-un during the upcoming summit that economic sanctions relief will not happen unless the country dismantles its nuclear arsenal. So anyone who says we've already given in and we've already shown them, no, we're going to talk right now, and they have halted missiles. By the way, even if we didn't talk, you know what today is? The beginning of North Korea, South Korea leaders talking about an armistice, ending the Korean War for the first time.
Yeah, well, he's just saying, our president is saying, listen, we're very wary of making these upfront concessions. You want give and take already. We haven't even sat down yet. He said North Korea's they've got to earn this.
Meanwhile, who is it who went to North Korea on Easter weekend? It was Mike Pompeo, our CIA director. Later on today in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, he's going to get a vote out of committee. And because John McCain is not there, he's out in Arizona with cancer treatment. And Rand Paul has said I'm a no on it. It looks as if it will not pass. There is one chance, though. Chris Coons, who is a Democrat from Delaware, has not said how he would vote, but he is leaning toward a no.
Well, he voted no.
They need one Democrat to join the Republicans to confirm Mr. Pompeo.
Chris Coons is the only one that has not said which way he's going to vote.
Right.
But if you look at the past, he did not vote. He opposed Mike Pompeo when he was being appointed. What do you call it? Elected CIA director. Yeah.
Mark Short had the line of the weekend. It's hard to believe that Rand Paul will vote yes for John Kerry for Barack Obama, but will not vote for Mike Pompeo for President Trump because he feels he knows better what President Trump really needs as a Secretary of State, which is comical. The president playing it right, saying, listen, he's never let me down. I hope he won't this time. I sense he's letting him this time. However, if it goes to the general floor vote, which would be embarrassing, really more for the Democrats and for Rand Paul, if it does go to a floor vote, it looks like he would get through because you already have Heidi Heitkamp saying, as a Democrat, I'll vote for him. And it's hard to believe that Joe Manchin, John Tester, and Joe Donnelly will get for 6 more years in their red states if they vote against Mike Pompeo.
If it goes to the floor vote, you need one Democrat, so I guess she would be the one, right?
Well,
and
the more the merrier.
And then you need one Democrat, at least the articles I've been reading, one Democrat, and then it said you need two Republicans could vote no. That would be Rand Paul, and then John McCain is absent.
And maybe Jeff Flake, too, has not committed to vote yes.
Then he wouldn't get confirmed.
And as important as this job, it's arguably the most important job in the cabinet. The New York Daily News, which is such a Trump-hating newspaper, has actually come out, and there's a headline today, confirm Mike Pompeo. President Trump needs a Secretary of State. They write, he is a solid enough selection who deserves Senate consent. Pompeo also has solid knowledge of the world, the discipline to oversee complex diplomacy, and a double-edged sword, we admit, the trust of a president who seems to believe in almost no one. That'll have to do. Confirm him. So if the New York Daily News is saying to Democrats in the U.S. Senate, come on, get this guy passed, they really should do it.
Although the Daily News is an embarrassment. It basically is a flyer these days.
They don't like Trump, but they like Mike Pompeo, and Mike Pompeo would.
But when you see what's happening in North Korea and you see what's happening in Syria, our country, this is best for our country, just to have a Secretary of State.
If you care about the State Department diplomacy, they'll have more credit in the White House. They'll have ears to what they want to do. He will bolster up the State Department, and they'll have a seat at the table because, like it or not, Rex Tillerson didn't. The president didn't respect his point of view, didn't inform him when he should, and he's already created that bond with Mike Pompeo. I feel the same way if the Republicans were dead set against John Kerry. He's qualified, and he's what Barack Obama wants. It doesn't matter what you want. Is he qualified to work with the president for the country?
Let's see. They're going to have a vote later on tonight. All right. Meanwhile, it is 6:10 here in New York City, and Jillian has news of the president's first big state visit from a world leader.
That's right. Good Monday morning to you guys, to you at home as well. Let's get you caught up on the story Steve was just talking about today. President Trump will welcome French President Emmanuel Macron to the White House. Macron touting the honor of being our commander-in-chief's first state visit.
We have a very special relationship because both of us are probably the maverick of the systems. We are not part of the classical political system.
The two world leaders set to have major talks on North Korea and the Iran nuclear deal. Tonight, they will dine at George Washington's home in Mount Vernon ahead of the official state dinner tomorrow. The first members of that migrant caravan have arrived at the American border, and more are on the way. The caravan originally had more than 1,000 migrants. It has shrunk under pressure from Mexican authorities and American troops. The migrants are comprised of citizens from several countries, including Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala. Barbara Bush's gravesite at her husband's presidential library at Texas A&M University will be opening to the public today. The couple's daughter, Robin, is also buried there. She was 3 when she died of leukemia. The Bush family now sharing these touching photos from the private burial ceremony. Hundreds of family and friends, including the Texas A&M University Corps of Cadets, lined the streets. Look at that. The Duchess of Cambridge has gone into labor. Here's a live look at St. Mary's Hospital in London, where Kate Middleton checked herself in overnight. This baby will be the 5th in line to the throne, following behind brother Prince George and sister Princess Charlotte. Folks have been camping outside the hospital for weeks just to get the first glimpse at the new royal. And when that happens, we will let you know.
I just want to know, will there be a town crier?
Yes,
as was for the first, is it just for the first one, or is it for, like, if she has 6 kids, you get 6 town criers?
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, you know what?
She wants to have a crier.
Right. But if you remember, the town crier was a stunt. He wasn't actually working for them.
Really?
He just showed up and started doing it, and then he became a viral sensation. And then we hired a town crier out front.
Right. It was before the...
Listen.
Hear ye, this is the town crier.
This one we hired.
You are watching Fox and Friends.
There you go. Exactly.
Right.
Back in the day. Thanks for the flashback.
It was before the bullhorn. It was hard to imagine a time before the bullhorn.
Well, that's why it's a town crier. It's not the town bullhorn.
This means that Kate, she'll be able to be in her sister's wedding.
That's right, which you will be attending.
Yes, we are going.
The 19th day of May.
Are you in the bridal party?
I am not. I did not get an invitation.
You don't
I
know.
will be from a rooftop.
Sometimes it's a wild card.
She is from the broadcast party.
The Joker.
All right, let me tell you what's coming up next. Remember the police commissioner who sent this warning to MS-13?
MS-13 wants to threaten the cop in this county. MS-13 is going to get an answer.
Yep, his department just launched a new offensive against this ruthless gang. He joins us with the results next.
And she's blamed everything from James Comey to Vladimir Putin to Netflix. Now Hillary Clinton has a brand new excuse for losing the election. Listen to this.
The mainstream political coverage was influenced by the right-wing media ecosystem.
MS-13 wants to threaten the cop in this county. MS-13 is going to get an answer. There was a threat that an individual that was planning to execute a cop and did have weapons in his vehicle and masked, but there go by the grace of God, that didn't happen that night.
Well, that is a top cop in Long Island firing back after a recent threat against cops, warning them about MS-13's sinister plan to take out a police officer. The official Nassau County Police Commissioner himself that you just saw on the side shot, you can see him straight ahead right now, Patrick Ryder. Mr. Commissioner, thanks for coming in. What are your thoughts when that came across, that they're looking to take out one of your guys?
We cannot tolerate it. It cannot happen. We won't accept it. And we have to act back. And we acted back this weekend.
In what way?
We went out, we reorganized most of our resources. We put 150 cops. Homeland Security came out with an additional 25 each night with us. We made 50 arrests this weekend. We took 4 guns off the street.
Did you know these guys were out there? You were just waiting for a reason to pick them up, and that threat was the reason?
No, we're constantly doing enforcement, but obviously when you threaten a cop in our county or anywhere in the state of New York or anywhere in this country, we're going to act back.
All right, so you know when it comes to ISIS, they go and have a call internationally. There is a hit when they put it out there, when they put up a video. What made you think that this was not a hollow threat?
Well, every threat, as we first looked at the first threat that came over, that they were going to execute a cop like they do in El Salvador because of our enforcement, we found a secondary threat where that threat was also credible, where they actually staked out a cop and was watching him at a local park.
When you pick these guys up, some in their teens, some not, what do they tell you? How do they get here? How many times have they come across?
Well, many of them have been deported already and have come back a second time. We made 1 arrest this weekend. An individual had been deported twice. When we grabbed him, he was wanted down in Prince George, Maryland, for attempted murder, robbery, kidnapping. He had been deported twice and also intimidating a witness.
So when you look at these MS-13, you got to stop them from getting here. That's the key. Once they're here, then the hunt is on, because they have jobs, they actually earn money, and they use that money for horrible causes. The more brutal the crime, the more brutal the murder, I guess the higher up they move within the organization. What do you say to people who in communities that have these sanctuary policies that become a magnet for guys like this?
You just have to look at the violence. And, you know, there's a lot of hardworking people in our Latino communities that come here and want to go to work. This small percentage of this MS-13 and these gang members, they cannot be tolerated. And if you allow them into your society, they're going to bring violence.
What has changed over the last 18 months since his president started making MS-13 part of our vernacular?
It's the enforcement has been up. We're getting the support that we've always needed when it goes after going after gang members. You want to make sure that you're backed up by your local politicians. In Nassau County, we are. And, of course, now in our country, we are.
When you have that threat go out and they say, we're going to look to take out a cop, what is it like being one?
Obviously, you get upset right away. Your emotions take over. But then you look at it and you say, OK, we got to go at this the right way. We don't want to offend the entire community. We want to go out and we want to get the gangbangers out and make sure that the community is safe.
How long does the full court press go on?
It stays on for a while until we get that we feel that threat is no longer credible and the individuals who made it are identified, arrested, and prosecuted.
I know when I was able to do a ride along with the gang unit, they feel like Washington has their back.
Yes, that's true. Washington does, and of course out in Long Island, our politicians do also. They protect our cops. They want our cops. They're the first line of defense. If we don't back them up, then we give up the war.
And a lot of times these gang members are in working class communities, and they often feel like they're the most vulnerable, so they're taking advantage of it. And I don't know how they end up there, but that's another story. Patrick Ryder, Nassau County Police Commissioner, thanks so much. Best of luck.
My pleasure.
Stay
Thank
safe.
you.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
All right, 10 minutes before the bottom of the hour. A body armor company taking the term Made in America to heart. Todd Pyro will take us inside their factory. That story's next.
Why does Made in USA matter to you?
Pride. It's made in America. It's creating American jobs.
6:24 in New York City. We start with some headlines and a Fox News alert. Overnight, an ISIS follower and only surviving terrorist in the 2015 Paris attacks found guilty of a shootout with police in Belgium. That leading to his arrest for the attacks that left 130 people dead. He will be tried for the Paris attacks separately. And 57 people now confirmed dead in an ISIS suicide bombing in Afghanistan. The blast in Kabul also injured more than 100 at an election center. It is the most serious attack yet on preparations for elections, which are scheduled for October.
The body armor company RMA Armament has truly taken the term Made in America to heart.
Indeed, all of the company's products are made right here in the US of A, from raw materials to putting it all together.
Todd Pyro got an inside look, and he joins us now. Hey, Todd.
Good morning, Ainsley. Good morning to you, Steve. President Trump even recognized their commitment to American ingenuity at the White House this past summer. And I got the chance to sit down with the founder and CEO, Blake Waldrop, a former Marine and a former cop, who gave me an inside look at his Iowa factory. And we even got a chance to put his armor to the test.
Not bad. Except the one that you missed up there. Sorry, you can see the damage. If that was a human torso without the armor, that's what damage it would inflict.
You live,
you die.
Why armor?
Because I lost a friend in Iraq on New Year's Day, 2005. Brian's death got me into making a better product. So we have a proven product that's significantly stronger than everybody else's in the United States. So it's a segmented strike face in ceramic that we use for the plates.
So basically what that means, if a bullet hits your armor, the rest of the armor still works. Hit somebody else's armor, that piece is more or less done if a second bullet were to fly.
Yes. So it spider webs the whole plate. With ours, it does not.
Now, we're not going to demonstrate on me because there are rules against that.
Yes.
But I get shot right now, almost any bullet, this thing's going to stop it.
It will stop it, yes.
President of the United States.
Yes.
Comes and singles you out. Tell me about that day.
It was like a complete whirlwind of experience. You know, again, we're pretty humble down here, you know, and to be invited to the White House, it's an honor. It's a huge honor. The president comes in. He actually sized me up and down. He looked, because I'm a big guy, sized me up and down, and he gave me an extra hard handshake when he stuck his hand out. So I gave it right back to him. I mean, president's an alpha male. Being recognized by the man that sits in the Oval Office is tremendous. I don't think I'll be able to top that experience.
So this is where you make the product that saves lives. How do you deal with the responsibility that the armor that you sell is literally keeping people alive?
It's a huge responsibility. It's got to be perfect. We screw up here in the slightest fashion, and in any stage of the manufacturing, somebody dies. We're in the business of saving lives.
And obviously, there's a reason you're doing this?
Yes, because law enforcement's our #1 customer base. Me being a former cop, this is what we do. We back the blue, proudly.
What does it mean when you see these departments that have put their trust and faith in you?
They trust me with their lives. It's an honor, it's an achievement, and it's also humbling, all wrapped into one.
The name RMA, everybody thinks that has something to do with being tough and being imposing. It's actually the most cute and adorable story.
So my girls, they soften your heart. So Renee, Megan, Alexis, RMA. It was very, very simple.
You could probably make your product way cheaper overseas and make a much bigger profit. Why does Made in USA matter to you?
Pride. It's made in America. It's creating American jobs. Yeah, we could probably make a ton more money if we had it. If we took even a plant across the southern border. But it's not about making money, it's about pride. You know, so when I'm dead and gone, I want to be remembered for the high quality product that we built here and the amount of people that are alive today because of that product.
How many lives will be saved by that company?
It's unreal. You know, it's one of those things. Yes, there are products out there on the market, but according to Blake, his products, you know, they don't do that splintering things that so many other products do, and that is going to save lives because you have to figure, if you're getting shot once, you're probably in a situation where you could get shot again. And so fingers crossed that this does save a lot of lives. And so important, it really is just made in Iowa.
There you go.
Made in USA.
And it only takes one.
It only takes one.
That's true. And he really knows what you need to protect yourself as a Marine.
You know, this isn't like me deciding, oh, I'm going to get into the body armor business. Marine, cop, he knows what the deal is.
And he personalized one for you.
He personalized the Todd Pyro one. You know, obviously, hopefully we'll never get a chance to use it, but it's great to have it. And thanks so much for a great story and a great day.
Very good.
Made in America.
Glad you went out to Iowa for that.
Your place, right?
I was born in Iowa, indeed. Algona, back in the olden days. All right. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you.
And we're glad you were born.
Thank you very much.
Well,
all right.
In other news, it's a story that sounds too crazy to be true. A college outdoors club told that they can't go outside because it's too dangerous.
But it's an outdoors club, right?
Yes, seriously.
Okay. Stay tuned for that. Plus, it's a battle of the Intel chairs. Congressman Adam Schiff and Devin Nunes going back and forth over sources in their Russia probe. Dan Bongino says this is a danger to our democracy, and he will join us live from Florida next to explain.
And we want to wish Valerie Bertinelli a happy birthday. The actress, Food Network star, and friend of our show turns 58 years old today.
Well, you might find
a Fox News alert. The state of Tennessee is on edge. Police and federal agents frantically searching for the man who shot and killed 4 people at a Waffle House.
He's 29-year-old Travis Reinking on the run after police say he opened fire at a suburban Nashville restaurant, that Waffle House, before a Hero customer stepped in and grabbed the shooter's gun.
If it was going to come down to it, he was going to have to work to kill me.
Incredibly, James Shaw Jr. suffering only a minor injury. Just last year, Reinking was arrested by the Secret Service in a restricted area near the White House. And Dan Bongino joins us right now, former Secret Service guy, host of the Dan Bongino Show, and an NRA contributor as well. Dan, so this guy was stopped near the White House by the Secret Service a while back. His guns were confiscated by the police ultimately. So I guess ultimately criminals just don't follow gun laws, do they?
No, that's only shocking to the liberals watching, by the way, and nobody else. But yeah, the Secret Service has to interview anyone they perceive to be a threat. As long as it's, they're able to carry it out, knowingly and willingly, they can prosecute. It looks like they didn't prosecute in this case. But Steve, this is important. They grade all their threat cases Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3, with Class 3 being the most dangerous people out there. I bet that classification system obviously is going to change after this tragedy this weekend.
Dan, it's kind of interesting. I understand that a guy like you with extensive training as a cop and Secret Service would react like that. How does a civilian react like that? Where does that come from?
A whole lot of heart, a whole lot of guts. I mean, I want to give a big hearty pat on the back to that gentleman.
No,
think about it, right? You're watching this happen right there, and I bet he wished he had a firearm himself, but he didn't, and he still goes after the guy. I mean, God bless you. What guts, what nerve, what a steel spine this gentleman had to do that.
That's right. The guy said, and there's the picture of James Shaw Jr. He said that if the guy was going to kill him, he was going to make him work for it. And after he took that picture, he was in the hospital, and then he went home, he changed clothes, and then went to church with his family.
Yeah.
To pray.
He's a hero.
God bless this patriot.
All right, let's talk about the battle of the Intel chairs. You have the House Intel Committee. Everyone knows Devin Nunes is a Republican. He is the chairman. And then you have Adam Schiff. They're always going back and forth, and over the weekend, back and forth on the intel that led to the Russia investigation. Here is the House Intel Chairman, Devin Nunes, talking. This is his side of the story. Listen to this.
It took us a long time to actually get this, what's called the electronic communication. As we know it now, what that is it's the original intelligence, the original reasons that the counterintelligence investigation was started. Now, this is really important to us because a counterintelligence investigation uses the tools of our intelligence services that are not supposed to be used on American citizens. We've long wanted to know, well, what intelligence did you have that actually led to this investigation? What we found now, after the investigators have reviewed it, is that, in fact, there was no intelligence.
That is a bombshell. Dan, there was no intelligence. It was just, and so that makes it look more and more politically motivated than ever before.
Steve, I was salivating to get on the air to talk about this at 6:30 in the morning. Guys, if you do anything, the viewers out there, today, go and watch that Maria Bartiromo interview. Watch it. It's about 10 minutes and 30 seconds long. I've watched it now 4 times. There's not one, not two. There's about 5 or 6 bombshells from Devin Nunes in there. One of them you just played. Think about what he just said. Process this, ladies and gentlemen. Horse blinders on. He just said that the most destructive counterintelligence spying operation in modern U.S. history against a presidential candidate and potentially a sitting president was conducted with, look at this, visuals here, 0 evidence. 0. How is this story? That interview should be plastered on the front page of every newspaper in America this morning. And what is Adam Schiff, one of the most destructive, corrosive figures in American politics, say? By the way, constitutional republics fall because of people like Adam Schiff. Instead of him saying, listen, I don't like Donald Trump's politics, but this guy's is really serious and we need to look into it. What does he do? He attacks Nunes again.
And here's
this guy's unbelievable.
Here's a statement from Schiff. The majority seems to believe that if it can discredit the initiation of the investigation by attacking the FBI Justice Department, it can get the public to ignore the growing body of evidence of illicit contacts between the Trump campaign and the Russians. This approach is as disingenuous as it is destructive to our institutions. Doubling down.
Brian, this guy is a police state tyrant. Bottom line, the investigation discredited itself. They just produced the EC, the electronic document, communications document, which describes how it started. This is an FBI document. Think about what Nunes said. There is no intel in there.
Right.
I mean, do you believe this? This is a major league bombshell.
And then when you couple that with the fact that James Comey, he leaked the confidential or top secret stuff to his pal so that it would wind up in the New York Times to get a special counsel, it looks like there was animus at the highest levels of our federal government to try to destroy Donald Trump.
Steve, you just brought up a great point. He leaked information when he could hurt Trump to his buddy, but then he hid the investigation from Congress for 8 months when he was supposed to be briefing them quarterly on it. He hid it. He's on tape acknowledging they hid it from Congress. This is unbelievable. That interview is a must-see.
Right. And a side note, Papadopoulos has told friends that when he was talking to that professor, Mifsud, he said, I was talking about the 30,000 that were deleted off her server. There's no collusion. It was a casual conversation. And Vasilyevskaya, who did the interview who went up to Trump Tower famously and talked to Don Jr. and Kushner and others, says he goes, nobody from the Mueller campaign has even talked to me. He goes, I'm willing to talk to them. How could you do an investigation without even talking to me? And they are, and they haven't.
Brian, the Trump team was set up. It is obvious. Everybody who contacted the Trump team has a connection to Fusion GPS or the Clintons. Everyone. This was a setup. It's obvious if you look at the facts here. I was a former criminal investigator. Look at the facts. This is unbelievably disturbing stuff.
And Dan Bongino has been saying the president was framed from the get-go. Dan, thank you very much for joining us today from Palm City down in Florida.
And Dan, of course, woke up his entire family when he did that because he gets up there in the morning.
Room.
Right. Jillian, please whisper because his family's still up, okay?
Okay, let's get you.
All right, you know what? Go full voice. What the heck?
Okay, thank you very much. As long as you say it's okay. They put their lives on the line to save others on 9/11. Now those heroic first responders are being targeted by scammers. They're posing as employees of the September 11 Victim Compensation Fund, which benefits people with health issues caused by that attack. Authorities say they're calling up survivors, requesting personal information to help with claims. Congress is asking the FTC to investigate the scam. Failed presidential candidate Hillary Clinton adding one more excuse to her growing list of what happened: the media.
The mainstream political coverage was influenced by the right-wing media ecosystem. Relentlessly negative news has had a leveling effect that opens the doors to charlatans.
While speaking at an event in New York, Clinton added that the political races since she lost have been more fairly covered. Don't go out there, it's too dangerous. Penn State administrators banning the student-led outing club from going outside. University officials saying camping, hiking, canoeing, they're just too risky for students, forcing group leaders to shut down outdoor trips next semester. The outing club is a 98-year-old organization, one of the longest-running programs on Penn State's campus. Let's look at your headlines. So no hiking, no canoeing for you guys, none.
It's scary outside. Stay in your house where you're okay. Camp in your living room.
The Wussification of America.
Although that was fun. Like a fort, a tent in your living room when you were a kid.
When you're 4.
Yeah.
All right.
It's 42 after the top of the hour. Still to come, Jonathan Turley, White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and Utah State Representative Mike Kennedy running against Mitt Romney for Senate, and they're all here.
Plus, Democrats have a bold plan for 2018, embracing socialism. Stuart Varney calls himself a refugee from socialism. We saved him, and now he can move up and down through society.
Welcome.
There is no safety net.
So bring on the sunshine to hell with the red wine hope.
Okay, so you're a rocket scientist. That don't impress me much. So you got the
Well, we got some quick headlines, starting with the tune. Shania Twain getting slammed by her fans for saying she would have voted for President Trump. The singer, who's from Canada, telling The Guardian he seemed honest. She's now apologizing on Twitter, saying she regrets answering the question. Meanwhile, Dr. Oz coming to the aid of a group of high schoolers after their bus burst into flames. He was driving past the scene on the New Jersey Turnpike and stopped to make sure everybody was okay. Nobody was hurt, but look at these images. This is, of course, not Dr. Oz's first roadside rescue.
He was fourth, right?
He was named an honorary firefighter after helping victims of a crash on the same highway in 2015, not to mention the time he came to the aid of somebody who was struck by a car just in front of our building.
Yeah.
Back in
Hey, better him than us. He's qualified to help people, you know, rather than just show up
They
and
take that oath.
yeah.
Dr. Oz to the rescue.
He's a good man.
Good job, Mehmet.
All right.
Meanwhile,
14 minutes before the top of the hour. Many on the left, far left candidates have a bold plan for 2018. Proudly embrace the socialist agenda?
Look at that headline, New York Times. According to the New York Times, supporters, many of them millennials, say they are drawn by the DSAs, which is the Democratic Socialists of America, to promise to combat income inequality, which they believe is tainting every facet of American life.
okay, well, Stuart Varney calls himself a refugee from this European model of socialism. He joins us live. And Stuart, you blame Barack Obama for taking us down that European road.
I do. He is largely responsible for the left turn in American politics over the 8 years of his presidency. I left England in the 1970s. And I left because it was a socialist economy which offered no hope for anybody who wanted to climb the food chain.
Right.
Mass unemployment, I mean, absolutely slow growth. It was a terrible place back in the 1970s, and I left. I came to America. I did okay. And suddenly I find that socialism is back in favor in America. I can hardly believe it. But look, Harvard did a study. They asked, what was it, 18 to 24-year-olds, I think it is. They said, what do you think about socialism? 33% of those people, those youngsters, approved of socialism. Only 42% approved of capitalism. 51% did not approve of capitalism.
Who's getting in their head?
I think it's my generation which now runs the universities. It's the campuses, it's the academics that are doing this. Look, it's fueled by a sense of jealousy. You got it, I don't, I want it, give it to me now.
So
that's socialism.
Who are these DSAs, the Democratic Socialists of America? Who's in this group?
It's a small group, but it's growing rapidly.
Elizabeth Warren, Bernie
this
Sanders.
This is a separate group. Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Keith Ellison, they're mainstream Democrats. They are leading and pushing the party left from the inside.
Towards socialism.
Towards socialism. This other group, the Socialists, the Democratic Socialists of America, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
they're all in.
But, OK, they're not a third party. They're inside the Democrats. They're working to push it much further left. They want tax the rich, single-payer medical systems, open borders. That's what they want.
Brian, you
asking me a question?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's Siri asking me a question.
Yes, you must have triggered something on my phone.
I am a refugee from socialism. Get that, lady.
Right, okay.
We're a refugee from Syria.
Okay, Google.
But look, it's very troubling when you've got a major party shifting way over to the left towards a policy which absolutely does not work.
Watch Stuart Varney from 9 to noon on FBN. Stuart, great to see you.
Thank you very much.
Company.
Good to be back.
Good to see you.
Thanks, Stuart.
Meanwhile, straight ahead, James Comey just released his books on ethical leadership. But what about his ethics? Law professor Jonathan Turley has the answer to that coming up.
And he could be the #1 pick in this week's NFL draft. But first, quarterback Sam Darnold is stopping by Fox and Friends with a special guest, his mom. They join us on the couch in a matter of moments.
It is the dream of many college quarterbacks to have their name called as the top pick of the NFL draft and to walk out on stage wearing your new team's hat and holding their jersey.
And on Thursday night, USC quarterback Sam Darnold has the chance to be the first name called in this year's draft by the Cleveland Browns.
Unless they decide to let the Giants take him. Joining us right now is the top NFL prospect, Sam Darnold, and his mom, Chris. Welcome to both of you. Congratulations.
Good morning.
Sam, what is it like knowing your life is going to change in just a few days?
Yeah, you know, it's pretty crazy, but it's a dream come true. You know, it's surreal. You know, I'm just trying to soak it all in. I know my mom's enjoying it as well, so is my dad. So we're just really trying to soak it all in, and you know, that's what it's all about.
Mom, how are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm so proud, you know, and beyond proud, and I have been.
ever since I had him. So.
It sounds like you're the motivation, though, because your son wound up playing football. Your daughter wound up, she's at the University of Rhode Island?
Yeah, she's coaching
volleyball?
there now. She played 4 years, and now she's a grad assistant, getting her master's in coaching.
All right, what do you do as a parent? Because we would all love our kids to enjoy a sport and be so good at something.
Oh my goodness. I think just, my husband and I both have just always encouraged our kids to have fun. Have fun,
Right.
but you never get to quit. You know, you start something and you always finish, no matter what.
And I know you told us right before that you were around 9th grade. Someone started telling you, your son, who was 6'3" as a freshman in high school, had it. But listen, this is in today's Denver Post from this guy named John Elway. Came out an hour ago.
Dang.
He said, unless it's Sam Darnold, it's any quarterback in the NFL draft good enough for John Elway. He said, basically, that is not the quote we wanted, but here is.
But he's out quoting things.
Yeah.
He's saying lovely things about you.
Yeah, that's super nice. I mean, it's an honor to just be in the position that I'm in, so with the help of my mom and my dad, it's been amazing so far.
What do you recommend? Last night we were at dinner, and one of my best friends has a 10-year-old son, and he has chosen this sport. Football is his sport. And his parents were discouraging him because they're worried about head injuries. But they finally said to their son, all right, if this is what you want to do, let's go all in. What's your recommendation to a child that age? Do you get a trainer every day, or do you just enjoy the game?
I think at that age you just got to enjoy it. Yeah. At that stage especially, just do what you want to do, have fun, and but yeah, I think if it's the right time and the kid really wants to pursue football and he really wants to train and work hard, let him do it.
Kay Jewelers Mother's Day. What's the length?
Oh.
What are you pushing for this year?
Oh my gosh. I'm so proud to be here and representing Kay Jeweler too, through Sam, and I can, he's been beyond anything a mother could ever ask for. But
that's so
and I think there's a surprise that we have.
Yeah, I mean, just being here with Kay Jewelers, getting ready for draft day and Mother's Day, I got a little surprise for my mom. She's probably gonna lose it a little bit, but
can
on
we
behalf
show?
of Kay Jewelers, yep. So right here,
what is it?
little necklace.
There you go.